Hello there guys, and welcome to Coxenstine Gaming, and welcome to Castle Coxenstine Mark IV. Now this is my defence for patch 16. I'm just going to jump right into it really. A lot has changed in this patch in regards to castle design, as with other stuff, but this video is focusing purely on the castle design. What the main change being that there's not really that many thin corridors anymore, but that being said, they're not completely out, and there are still ways to utilise the smaller corridors that are available. And to be honest, I do wish that we could have the option of either the big rooms and the small corridors, but it's not as bad as I think people initially made it out to be. Like, there are ways to utilise the smaller corridors as effectively as the bigger corridors. And to be honest, I'm finding that there's a lot more variety in castles now in regards to mob types. It's not just people pulling into eyeballs. So, you know, it's maybe a little bit for the better, but at the same time, I do miss my corridors. So yeah, without further ado, I'm going to start running through. I apologise for my missing 20 points, by the way, but I'm a bit bugged at the moment and it won't let me place anything. So I'm just waiting until that clears up, and then I'll put an extra mob in, but I'll talk through that when I get to the location. So in my first room, well actually I'm going to go over traps first. Traps kind of got nerf sand buffs, but the most effective trap that I found is still the flame trap, because if you look over the damage that traps do, I'll go to here because I haven't got a flame trap in there. At the moment, my rotating cannons do just under 600 damage. Ballistic cannons do about 500 damage, and spike traps do about 600 damage. And so, the best best trap to use, for damage, is rotating cannons still. And out of all three of those, rotating cannons still have the most chance to hit, because ballistic cannons are really easy to dodge as long as you don't stand still. Spike traps, you can just time it nicely and get through without being hit. I mean, same goes for rotating cannons, but spike traps especially, they're, you know, confined to a set square, whereas rotating cannons do, as you can see, do hit at quite a large radius, and so it's a lot harder to not get hit by any bursts at all. Minefields, yes, they're good damage, but you know, they're one-time bursts, and once they've blown up, there's no danger at all. So, especially now that they're the bigger size, and so they are the same 3x3 square as a flame turret, I always favour a flame turret now. So yeah, I mean, that's all I've got for traps. Going through the whole dungeon is just everywhere where I could fit in a flame turret, I put one in. And I tried to make sure that every time I had a small corridor, there was a flame turret either at the very entrance of it, or I think down here, yeah, there's one at the exit of it. So they're kind of what I'd say get in mind. And the other point of a turret, or whatever trap you favour placement, try and put them near corners, because what I tend to do, especially on my archer, is kite things around corners to make them more manageable and less of a surprise kind of thing. So if you have these turrets on corners, if I want to kite something around here, I'm going to have to take a few blasts of flamethrower before the mobs then finally catch up with me. So again, that's something just to bear in mind a little bit with your trap placements. And yeah, so that's that. So moving on to the first room and my first mob, I just kind of wanted to kind of wear down people's health a little bit and annoy them, because I find with most dungeons, if people are gonna die, they tend to die within, say, about the first minute, and so this mob here is a kind of a good way to test the water, do a bit of damage. It's just a Robust Shieldatron, which I do need to upgrade. It's a rank too low for me at the moment, I think, and a Cyclops rank 5. And the Cyclops is set on the 3-punch combo, and the Robust Shieldatron is on Bodyguard. And so what this does is, they move kind of the same speed, and it just means that you're going to have to try and fight your way around to get to the Robust Shieldatron, but while all that's going on, the Cyclops is just constantly punching you in the side of the head. And while all that's happening, you've got these 3 lovely flame traps that you've got to be avoiding, so more than likely you're going to try and kite them back over the bridge, which just means the Cyclops is going to go first, and you're not going to be able to hurt him unless you've got something that can go through enemies to get to the Robo-Shieldatron. And a Robo-Shieldatron's health is no joke anyway, so, you know, at the very most you're going to be wasting a bit of time there. And just to show that it can do something, I've got a bit of a bug at the moment here, like 1 hour, 1 week, and then suddenly at the bottom I've got some new replays. But you can just see here that this archer attempted to do my dungeon, and he just died straight away. So yeah, that just shows that is quite a nice mob. Now, this next bit is where I've also had someone die, and I feel this is where I've been the most unique. I've not seen anyone use this mob before. This is something I've kind of designed myself, and it does work really well in my opinion. The reason I'm saying that I'm a bit unique is because I'm using the Hunger Bots on the Punch Drunk setting. Yes, you heard me right. And it's to be honest, I have not seen this in a dungeon before, apart from at a very low level when no one really knew what was going on. And so, you know, it is a bit experimental, but it's working out nice for me. I've got the flame turrets at the entrance of these corridors, which means that people are kind of they'll want to get in a little bit, but they obviously might be a bit wary. When they pull this mob here, they're going to suddenly have 2 smelly warriors charging at them on the heavy-handed setting, and also I've got 2 smelly archers down here on the headshot setting. And what this does is, whereas I could have, say, had the grab, which would have brought them in, but in my opinion, that would have just put my archers and my Hunger Bot at risk, while these guys are then playing catch-up. Again, with the knockback ability, these guys here, their heavy-handed ability does a lot of damage. I don't know if I can show you. Where are we? Smelly warrior, smelly warrior. I've lost them. Alright, there he is. So you can see here, with the heavy-handed on, it does 900 damage. And one thing to note is, I don't think a lot of people realise this, but if you do swap specs, it does update their stats. So you can see there, in the protection spec, or whatever it's called, personal bubble spec, smelly warriors only do 360 damage. But when you do go into heavy-handed, you're doing almost 3 times that damage. I mean, you know, 900 damage per hit is a lot of damage. And so same goes for an archer. They're at the moment they're doing 856 damage with their headshot. I don't know if that means if both headshot, because obviously they do a double shot. I don't know if that means 856 when both hit or only when one hit. But either way, that is a lot of damage. And so when they aggro this mob, they're going to get straight away punched in the face. And I don't know if any of you have actually seen the Punch Drunk, but it's slow. It's probably about a 90% slow on whoever it hits, and that just means that you're not going to be able to escape from these guys unless you can kill them very quickly. You're going to get hit with 2 really strong attacks, and you're definitely not going to be able to outrun the smelly archers, because they're just then going to do lots of headshots going through, and it hurts. And so just to show that one in action, I believe it was this guy here died on this mob. I haven't had very many attempts on this dungeon, so this will probably be the last replay I show. So yeah, he kills the first mob quite easily, but as you can see, it did leave him with a lot of health gone. And so he comes in nicely, he goes to attack, and you see that slow on him. He can hardly move. He couldn't escape the 2. He took a lot of damage from the archers, but because the main thing there was because of the massive slow on him, he couldn't escape the smelly archers, and whereas I say could have had the knockback, that would have just smashed him away and probably saved him from damage, because the smelly warriors wouldn't be able to catch up with him at all. So yeah, this is just my own little thing I've made up, and it is like I said, I've only had the 1 replay on it, but it works really well in my opinion. This next mob going on, again I've just got flame traps kind of as frequent as possible, so people don't have a lot of safe places to move. So again, this is something I've had in my previous dungeon design, if you've seen that. It's just a Scorpio with 2 heavy-handed warriors on either side. So when he drags you in and you've got that like half a second stun, whatever it is, you suddenly then just get hit in the face by 2 900 damage smelly warriors, and it's really nice. I've got to the stage now where I can upgrade my research lab. So very soon I shall have these as rank 4 Scorpios, which will make a huge difference to my dungeon. So yeah, moving on. So that's a really nice mob. Moving on again, I've got similar to the first mob. It's just a Defendertron protecting the Cyclops, with then 2 Hunger Bots shooting their stun gloves around. And again, this mob here isn't so much to kill people, but just to annoy the crap out of them. And it's not necessarily even a hard mob to kill, but you're going to get constantly slowed while you're trying to kill this Defendertron. This Cyclops is going to keep punching you in the head. When you eventually have killed that mob, you've then got to fight your way through the gloves and reach these guys, and all that while trying to avoid these 2 flame turrets. And you know, there's not really, because I've put these on the corners, like I said earlier, there's not even anywhere you can really run back to. Yes, you can run forward, but you know, people coming into your dungeon don't necessarily know that. They might be wary of a mob down here, which you see a lot in these types of rooms. And you know, all in all, I'm really happy with the kind of the start to the dungeon. And so yeah, moving on. As I said before, again, I've put this flame turret here to try and discourage people from moving back. And then a very similar mob but different to the first one. I've again got an archer there, but this time it's Zeke. And once again, I probably can upgrade him once I get the research lab upgraded. And again, a stunning hunger bot. But what I've done here is I've tried to kind of blindside people. So instead of having a mob kind of up here like you might expect, or over here, I've put the Smelly Warrior here, making use of the corner. And so as you can see, the aggro ring is quite far down this passageway. And to be honest, while you might just about see the Smelly Warrior as you get there, you're not gonna. You might, because you see him there, you might not realise that there's something down here, which is obviously the key part of this mob. And so once you aggro that, you're going to get slowed. I haven't really seen this in practice yet, because a lot of this is new from the latest replay I've had. But hopefully he'll be able to get around in time and get a heavy-handed attack off. But the main bit is a Zeke, rank 3, with the triple headshot ability. And just to show you the damage that will do, it's 1050, but to be honest, I think I can probably upgrade him, think being the keyword. Yeah, I can upgrade him, but I just haven't had the points. So once I do upgrade him, that will be 1260 damage. So there's a huge... That there is still a devastating combo, but there's definitely more room for improvement there as well. So following on from that, I've got the first mob again, just to kind of work some damage into the mix, hopefully pound them down a little bit, and that is in preparation for my first and only Pete Palmore of the dungeon. Again, I haven't seen this one in action yet. This is something new I've added in, and again, it's a bit of an experimentation. The thing with Pete Palmore's is I find a lot of the time what makes or breaks him is the mob that's with him, like with the final 4 points. So I was contemplating between a Hunger Bot or a Smelly Archer. Smelly Archer is always a nice addition, because they're just that nice bit of burst damage while people are trying to focus down the Pete Palmore. But in this case, I figured what happens if I have a Punch Drunk, so slowing him down loads, with the Pete Palmore with the floor punch, which is then a big knockback and a stun. So I'm hoping to kind of cause a little bit of a stun lock on people there. And you know, I've done a little practice run, but my archer is, with the bear traps especially, is really good at taking out Pete Palmores. And knowing they're there, I did just pull him around the corner, despite taking a few hits from the flame traps. So again, I'm hoping oblivious people, obviously people who haven't seen this video, might fall into that a bit. And I'm hoping to see, well, I'm interested to see how the whole Hunger Bot with Punch Drunk and a floor punch Pete Palmore, you know, combos together. It interests me a little bit. So following on to that, I have seemed to favour the old Defendertron and Cyclops this patch. It's a really nice and annoying combo, especially with the damage that Cyclopses do. So in this one, it's just 2 Defendertrons, a Smelly Archer on headshot, and Cyclops. I've put these two quite far back, as you'd expect, to kind of make people oblivious to their presence at the very start. So you're going to come here, you're going to try and initially focus this Defendertron, because you've got a Cyclops constantly chasing you, and while all that's going on, you're going to hopefully take 1 or 2 volleys from a Smelly Archer, who you also can't immediately kill because he's getting personally bubbled as well. So all in all, quite happy with that mob. Interested to see how that one goes down. Following on from that, again, I've got these set up here and here to stop people kiting around corners. This corner here is obviously a bit safe, which was unavoidable because I initially wanted to have this one here, but that then meant that I couldn't fit a trap in the middle there, and I couldn't fit a trap over here, because I really wanted to kind of have no real safe places for people to stand in this dungeon as they go through. And so all in all, while it would have been ideal to have this flame turret up here, I figured it was better for me to have more flame traps and kind of sacrifice that tiny bit of idealness. So leading on from that, again, this is a little bit of an experiment because I couldn't really find anything better. I'm pulling with archers, and this might throw people off a little bit, because normally when people kind of have a big archer trap where you pull with something else and then suddenly 10 archers shoot at you, you don't see the archers until they've shot. Whereas I'm hoping with this, by pulling with 2 archers, people will just go, oh, this might be an easy mob. They'll run in or shoot in, and then suddenly they're going to get a boxing glove in the face, not be able to dodge these shots, and also get shot by 2 more headshot volleys. So again, experimentation, seeing what's going on there. I've then pushed in a Jimbo as close as possible, because I'm hoping that while people try to dodge gloves and arrows, if they don't run back, they run forwards, which then, by having this as close as possible, they run the risk of pulling a second mob at the same time. So this is a Jimbo with heavy-handed, and their damage is a heck of a lot. I really like Smelly Warriors and Jimbos in this patch. To be honest, I really like what they've done with all the elites in this patch. I don't see why people insist on spamming Pete Poundmores and Scorpios, because Jimbos and Zeeks are just as powerful, and if not more versatile than Pete and Scorpio. But yeah, so in this patch, Jimbos do 2,165 while on heavy-handed, and I'm not sure if I can upgrade them further than that yet, but no, I can't until I get Research Lab 11. But all in all, like 2,000 damage for one hit is devastating, and you're not going to be able to DPS them down straight away because you've got Defendertron there, and so that will I'd hope that Jimbo here will be able to get 1 or 2 hits off, and to be honest, that might even kill you. And just to make this mob a little bit annoying, because it left me on 17 points, and you know that is a bit of an annoying number to end on, so I just put a Bone Puppeteer here on the medic function to prolong this Defendertron as long as possible, and obviously Jimbo afterwards as well, unless they kill this guy first, and give Jimbo as much opportunities as possible to get those big hits in. My missing 20 points I'm then going to throw in here. I'm thinking of having a Mega Mutton and 2 archers. I've fallen in love with the Mega Mutton just because I've just watched a replay and his damage hurts. Again, this is just me wondering why people are so obsessed with Scorpios. Don't get me wrong, Scorpios are really good, but the people who are like have 3 Scorpios here, then just Scorpio, if someone can beat 1 Scorpio, you tend to be able to beat them all. So my biggest lesson to teach you guys this Castle Coxenstine episode is don't repeat and repeat. I mean, I know I've done a tiny bit of repetition with, say, the Cyclops and Defendertron, but again, it's not every mob. You know, there's stuff mixed in, and like repetition isn't good. If someone can beat the chances are they can beat it again and again. So by repeating, all you're doing is setting yourself up to lose against people who know how to beat that mob combo. So yeah, I urge people to mix it up, and obviously mixing it up just makes a more fun dungeon anyway, and that's what, as a builder, that should be your aim really, is to make a fun and enjoyable dungeon, not just defend your loot, because you you know, you're gonna hit a stage, which, you know, I'm nearing now anyway, where everything's gonna be fully upgraded and there's no real need for loot, and so all you've then got to do is just build as fun a dungeon as possible. So it really helps to kind of get those skills into play while you're leveling, rather than just trying to rush straight to endgame. But anyway, mini lecture over. For my boss room, so yeah, for this last mob here, I'm just going to have a Mega Mutton and 2 archers, but like I said, I can't actually place things at the moment, and I probably need a little bit more life force as well. But then for my boss mob, what I used to have was a Scorpio, a Mega Mutton, and a Jimbo on the shield function, personal bubble, whatever it's called. And what happened was, they killed Jimbo really quickly. They struggled a little bit. They hurt the Mega Mutton, which meant he was doing his charge. And I don't know if you realise this, because I didn't realise it till like about a day or two ago. The Mega Mutton isn't just a normal charge, like with the goat, whatever it's called. It actually leaves a flame trail behind it, which obviously does fire damage over time if you stand in it. And at the same time, its charge ability hurts, like really hurts. And so yeah, I'm just going to show you guys like the last replay of the day. I believe it's down here. I still don't get why it's done this. Yeah, here we go. Level 21. Oops. Right, sorry about that, guys. Had a Windows update quickly pop up. So yeah, no, I'm just going to show you my last replay. This is of a much older version of this dungeon, so I'm just going to speed through most of it. But this guy is the same level as my dungeon is rated as, but you can see that he is struggling a bit with certain mobs, and after most of him, if he isn't struggling, he is out of a lot of health. Now, so yeah, this is where one of the big differences is, what's coming up now. I also think I upgraded my Architect Lounge here, so I might have... Alright, so here we go. So that's the other thing I might have forgotten to quickly mention about my boss room, is I put a silencing aura right in the middle, and that's where the old Scorpio is. And so obviously he's not going to move off that, so if you want to get up and close with him, you've either got to pull him away, which is going to waste time, or you're going to have to just deal with the silence basically. And as you can see, it's hard enough as it is to kill a Scorpio normally, especially once I've got him upgraded. But having to do it while chasing off one of these guys is a real problem. Now, I know what you're thinking looking at this, oh, he's probably about to win, but I don't know if you saw that, he was pretty much at max health, and that one charge, direct hit, just killed him outright. So that is why, if I just leave this replay now, I could have potentially lost some resources there, but good old Mega Muttons saved my behind. And so that's why I've now made it, so it's a Scorpio, again, on top of a silencing aura, with 2 Mega Muttons rather than the Jimbo I had before. And so kind of how I kind of picture this boss fight going is, you're going to constantly be dodging the 3 hooks, and then the Mega Mutton's going to be charging around, going whoop, 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 leaving, and if you do an AoE like he did earlier, in that replay, sorry, which is what hurt the Mega Mutton, you're then going to have to be dodging 2 lots of flame paths, whatever you want to call them, dodging 2 lots of charges while having to dodge these grabs, and so I consider that to be quite a difficult boss mob without being too cheese. And so yeah, all in all, I'm really happy with this castle design. To be honest, more so than any castle I've done up until now, because I think this is probably what the developers were trying to achieve, was, you know, not just one mob type spammed throughout the dungeon, like with, say, the Hunger Bots and the Eyeballs, or the initial patch when I first started playing. It was archers on headshot ability were the only way to kind of outright kill someone, and so yeah, no. All in all, I am still a bit kind of upset that we've lost the narrow corridors in a lot of rooms, but it has kind of encouraged a bit more mob variety, thinking outside the box with how you're gonna, get people to die just in this tiny little corridor as opposed to a long thin one, which makes it painfully easy. And so, yeah, I'm still a bit annoyed about it, but at the same time, I can see why they've done it. And to be honest, I think within a week or two, people will have forgotten about the corridors, and it will all be hunky dory. So yeah, as always, I never claim to be the master of all things. Let me know what you think I could improve, if anything. But I do think this is quite a solid defence at the moment. My name is Crentaris in game. If you haven't got me added already, feel free to add me. And I'd love to make a replays video for this. So if you're interested in being in a replay video or just want to steal my loot, feel free to attack me, whether I'm shielded or not. And yeah, I hope you'd enjoyed it, and I'll see you later, guys.